Today I want to get into Jimin's reaction to bad things said online about him and his response to everything. We also have new comments surfacing online about people saying what soldiers are going to do to Jimin as he's believed to be enlisting soon, and it's disgusting. Trigger warning there. And then we have Jung Kook being reported. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hate it or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, hastily welcome merchant, let's go. Jung Kook was recently reported and not really what you think. So what happened and what caused this? If you are not aware, Jung Kook has been live streaming a lot more recently, and by recently I mean since he had downloaded Instagram and started an account then, he very quickly just didn't become as active on the site. He seemingly struggled right from the beginning in finding out what type of aesthetic he wanted to have and would often delete and redo everything because he didn't like it. I think overall he preferred accounts like VLive and Weverse, which are merged now, and preferred a simpler platform. When you have a platform that allows for customization, you'll very quickly find that everyone who has an account on that platform will soon be very clever with everything they do, from the username to the overall look. Jung Kook is probably a type of person where if he feels like he can't be the best at something, it might discourage him or upset him. Obviously, with all the many celebrities, influencers, and day-to-day people with really clever artistic style, I can see that the platform would almost burn Jung Kook out, since he'd be stressed from trying to compete or feel like he needs to. Instead, it seems like Jung Kook opted for using Weverse that has less customization, and he can focus more on posting whatever message he needs to and just go live whenever he wants to. And of course, without the fear he's going to press the wrong button, delete something, or accidentally post something. Jung Kook has been streaming and connecting with armies a lot more lately, and during the stream he also does covers. He takes some requests and then also just does songs that he really wants to do. A lot of the covers he does are just trendy songs, and then they are clipped and reposted onto TikTok, and a lot of those songs end up getting millions of views. But Jung Kook did a lot of them, and a lot of the live streams were very close together. And I believe some of them were even back-to-back in terms of 2 days in a row. And of course, when Jung Kook is singing these covers, he's not putting the volume of the song super low and then whispering when he's singing. He's actually full out trying to sing. He also sometimes is using a karaoke machine that has a mic, and Jung Kook doesn't live in an isolated building. He lives in a condo with neighbors and an upstairs and downstairs neighbor too. So naturally, if he's doing this into the wee hours of the morning or late at night, then he is disturbing some people. And sometimes he streams, I believe, at like 2 or 3 a.m. So Jung Kook actually reported in the stream that he recently got a noise complaint from the neighbors. Jung Kook, interestingly enough, decided to share this and made sure that this time he was singing songs and doing songs like 50/50's Cupid. He wanted to make sure he was not singing super loud, but doing it quietly. And on this new stream, he was not singing with a mic, as to also respect the neighbors. One of the most annoying things about living in a big apartment complex is even if you do spend millions to buy the thing, you still have to be quiet when you do things. You still don't own the space, which I can imagine is frustrating. But Jung Kook was not complaining. I just hope no one had called the police and reported him that way. There was likely a report where a couple of people called the front desk and they let him know not to sing. But who doesn't want to hear that beautiful voice to rock them to sleep? I bet they actually thought it was a recording and that it was just being blasted so loudly. Speaking of haters, Jimin has been no stranger to these sorts of things. He recently actually reacted to some of those comments online. But if you are unaware of what I am talking about, let me recap some of the terrible things that Jimin has to go through. Jimin, for some reason, gets the most hate among the members. I think he is also very widely loved, and possibly even has the most number of armies using his face for their profile pictures. That's just my theory. So I feel when people want to send hate to a BTS member, they might just choose Jimin. There's many other reasons, like other ship groups not wanting Jimin, and then the occasional Akes who happen to like another member, but hate everyone else, so they naturally also don't like Jimin. Then there's very insane, very serious comments that are not just one-off, oh, I don't like his hair or whatever, but comments that call for police investigation. When someone sends death threats to BTS's concerts, Jimin was actually made aware of these comments and the terrible threats that he gets. During a live stream not too long ago, Jimin happened to be on his phone, and we can't verify exactly what he was reading because he could have been reading a headline, a text, anything. Even when he said, okay, I'm going to look at the comments, we have no idea if he just recently got a text from someone and he clicked on it to read that and thus was sad over that. but a lot of ARMYs assume Jimin was reading a hate comment judging by Suga and RM's reaction. When they saw the comment, Jimin seemed a bit sad for a little bit of the stream, and who can blame him? There's definitely a fine line between what a lot of idols have to do when it comes to reading comments and DMs, and it sucks because most people want to interact and connect with people. Getting comments is exciting. Artists want to interact with other people and see what other people think about the art they put out. But then you have to draw the line somewhere where you're like, okay, I will only read a certain amount of comments before I stop. There's this rule in the industry and what agents might advise you to do, and what I'm advised as well, which is just to not read comments at all. I don't like that. And fortunately, I've developed and always had a thicker skin when it comes to these types of stuff. I've worked with a customer service job, so believe me when I say I know people get dramatic. But the hate I receive is tiny compared to what someone like Jimin could receive, and of course for doing nothing. Jimin actually did kind of respond to all of these comments collectively, and he acknowledged everything. So what did he say? Well, he has a solo song called Set Me Free Part 2. Jimin talks about this album and the song to represent himself and his true self. So when there's a lyric in the song Set Me Free that says F your ops, he is directly addressing those who have said negative things to him. If you are unaware what ops mean, it's a new slang that is often used among rappers and musicians nowadays to mean opposition. So when they say F your ops, they're referring to F your hostile expressions. Jimin's hate didn't just stop at that because that would be too easy, right? Imagine he just says stop and then everyone stops. That would be a fun world to live in, huh? There's been a big stream of hate going on online that is calling Jimin gay and super feminine, which is really not an insult because he is more feminine, and I'm sure he doesn't care if you call him gay. He's pretty open about having a feminine side, and there's no way he is not aware of that side. His solo album also focuses on that side of him. But because there is this insult, there's people saying that he won't last in the military and that he is going to get pushed around, to say it nicely. Trigger warning here. People were saying that Jimin will get abused in the military. A lot of these comments come from the fact that they think Jimin is weak and that Jimin is gay, and I have a lot to unwrap here. First of all, Jimin is not weak. We've literally seen his abs, and chances are he will also have abs when he is in the military. And yeah, I agree, the military security or that sort of thing might not be top-notch and amazing, but if abuse or any sort of physical issue were to occur, I'm pretty sure Jimin would be able to report it, get out of there, and that person get arrested. Second of all, the comment came from such a place of homophobia. So any guy that is semi-gay or more on the feminine side is going to get abused in the military, and are they going to be unable to hold their own? There's so many strong gay men that exist, and if he did come out as gay, that would mean that he is allowed to be treated abusively in the military. And then second of all, this comes from such a hatred of women too. To say that he is feminine, he is going to get abused, and that he's unable to defend himself. The fandom prides themselves so much in protecting their artists, and if their favorite artist gets comments like this, they would ask everyone to apologize, but they don't care about not using this language when talking about someone they don't really like. The thing that annoys me so much within K-pop and the fandoms is that some of them are such fake advocates and are only advocates for big issues when it's to defend their idol. And this is terrible because, for example, people are faking caring about things like mental health unless it's their favorite idol that has mental health issues. This is so bad. I don't think Jimin has anything to worry about. As I said, if push comes to shove, he can totally fight himself, and you're literally being taught to fight, and then so I don't think anyone would do anything like that to him. I think everyone in the military respects Jimin and his success because in South Korea, being smart and good at what you do is not seen as nerdy or bad thing. This was a bigger concern as people felt like Jimin might enlist soon. BTS posted a calendar that showed all of the things that might be upcoming, and people think that in June, Jimin will release something. A world tour, a song, whatever it is. I think a world tour might not happen, I could be wrong, but if it was something that big, they usually would want to market it better. So they would typically want to market it when the song comes out so they can ride off the hype when it's at its height. But then there is a possibility that Jimin might release one last song like how Jin and J-Hope did before they left. And so this idea that Jimin could be going soon is in the air, but who knows? And I wouldn't freak out or worry too much about anything right now. Even simply talking about the issue that could occur in the camp is definitely going to keep a lot of eyeballs on the enlistment and thus reduce the chance of this happening. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.